Sit down. Look to camera.
This is what it looks like to be exceptional, to stand out from the crowd, to make history. But what if women didn't have to be exceptional? What if they didn't have to be the first, the best, or the only woman? What if being a female engineer wasn't remarkable? What if women and men could compete as equals? I don't want to make history. I don't want to be the only woman. I want to be one of many.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Girl Guide Association Malaysia's International Women's Day Forum. I am Shaveena and I'm truly honored to be your moderator for this special event. As you all may know, WAGS and GGAM plays a crucial role in women's rights and empowerment. Hence, we gather today to celebrate the remarkable achievement of women around the world, to reflect on the progress we've made, and to renew our commitment to gender equality and empowerment. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panelists who will be sharing their insight and experiences with us today. Each of them brings a unique perspective and expertise to our discussion, and I am confident in their contributions will enrich our dialogue and inspire us all. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Mala K. As a training and mentorship manager, she has impacted hundreds, imparting knowledge through over 30 modules across diverse fields. Simultaneously pursuing a Master of Counseling and interning with a Women's Aid organization, Mala's dedication to empowering vulnerable communities shines through. Her passion for communication propelled her to become the morning show radio host on Tracks FM, connecting with audiences and inspiring change. Ultimately, Mala's aspiration lies in creating a world where young minds are empowered to pursue their passions and dreams, unhindered by societal constraints. Mala envisions a future where young generation can freely pursue their passions and dreams, shaping an inventive world filled with limitless possibilities. Next, let's give a warm welcome to Azman. Azman Azim is currently serving as the National Co-Chair of Malaysian Youth Diplomacy. He is passionate in advocating for the youth peace and security agenda. He has vast experiences in championing youth engagement inclusive of organizing #Belia Prihatin and being the former Vice President of Child Consultative Council, championing children's rights and a bully-free environment. He's actively campaigned against child marriage and believes in the importance of involving men in this cause. Last but not least, joining us today is Miss Zenn. As an international runway model, she has shattered boundaries by representing plus-size beauty on prestigious runways across Asia. Notably, she proudly walked for Malaysia in the Indonesia Fashion Parade and Thailand Fashion Week, showcasing the diversity of body types in the fashion industry. Beyond modeling, Miss Zen is also deeply passionate about inspiring today's youth to embrace self-belief. She's delivered motivational speeches in Indonesia and Singapore, aiming to empower young individuals to recognize inner strength and potential. We are truly fortunate to have such an incredible lineup of panelists with us today. Their dedication to advancing gender equality and empowering women is an inspiration to us all, and I'm eager to hear their perspective on our theme. Before we start, I'd like to humbly request for the panelists to do the IWD hands gesture for a quick picture. Alright, thank you. Now that we've had the opportunity to meet our esteemed panelists, let's kick off our discussion. Our theme for today's forum revolves around inspiring inclusion. To set the tone for our conversation, I'd like to pose the first question to our panelists. So, what does inspire inclusion mean to you? Miss Zen, would you like to go first?
Okay, by the way, chill, okay? You did a great job. Give a round of applause for yourself. I mean, it's a very good speech out there, and it's a very, how to say, it's a brave thing to do. And really, thank you so much for introducing every one of us perfectly and proudly. Okay, hi guys. Yeah, for me, I just googled actually, to be honest, inspiring inclusion. So inspiring inclusion for that I realized is actually creating a very welcome and friendly environment throughout this. I mean, whatever that we are doing. And to be honest, in this real life industry, right, this is something that we lack of. Right, Mala, if y'all can just join in and just agree with me, Azman. So yeah, so that's why I feel like being able to have this environment is a very important thing, and I feel that doing this and celebrating International Women's Day, we need to have this kind of environment where we encourage one another, especially successful those people who have done successfully. Like for me, Mala, I'm very proud of you. Oh my God, I diss my old friends, by the way. Mala and Azman, hi, nice to meet you. You know, and I feel very happy that I get to meet everyone and I seen them grow. And this is something that we should have, this kind of environment where we encourage each other. Yeah. Okay.
Mala, do you want to
Azman,
go
would you?
first?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mala, maybe
me.
just, yeah, Azman.
Okay, so for me, inspire inclusion can be defined in many ways. And personally, it could be unity and empowerment to champion gender equality to achieve sustainable development goals. Number five, which is gender equality, and also hashtag Women 2030 initiative. And as a young man, I am proud to be part of International Women's Day 2024 and to be here today, which this demonstrates that women do not need to be part of this journey alone. As someone who is advocating for youth, peace, and security agenda, which is a United Nations resolution, and one of the pillars is actually participation. And everyone's probably wondering participation by who actually, and it is actually participation by from all levels of society, no matter what gender, age, race, or even skin color in your or even your political backgrounds as well. We can conclude that you do not need to be a woman to be part of their campaign or to stand up for women's rights for me. And all you need to do is just to be a human being and champion for human rights, because women's rights are human rights also.
Nice one.
Wow. Wow. Thanks, Asman. And also thanks, Zen. It's just so nice to see the two of you here. And Shavina, awesome job. Like really, you're awesome moderator and MC as well. So I think for me is I've been thinking about this a lot. Actually, like was really deep diving into the word inclusion. I feel apart from like being part of the community and being inclusive in the types of people in one community, I feel like we need to be inclusive with ourselves too. There are often times there's a lot of situations where we only accept like certain areas of ourselves that we like and we present that out. And I feel it's also a reminder as women or men to be inclusive with your own self, you know. So when you present yourself to other people, it's okay to have like flaws, it's okay to have baggage, it's okay to have trauma, it's okay to have all these things. And it's great to see that when people accept themselves, and if you're inclusive on your own, like you can be more inclusive with others. So like for me, it was a very self-reflection with this team this year. So I really hope like women out there just like accept themselves for who they are. And you know, like what Zen's doing is great. You know, you're just like presenting yourself, and you know, whatever people say, naysayers or whoever, it doesn't matter, because we accept us, our own self, and that's what matters the most. And from there we can be inclusive in different communities. So I think like that's what inclusivity means to me, and inspiring that is like super important, especially among what we are where we are right
Yes,
now.
agree.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that question, Shavina.
Thank you so much. I love those answers. Those were such insightful responses. So before we move forward, I'd like to delve deeper into the personal experiences of our panelists. Our journey towards gender equality often involves navigating various obstacles and challenges, including moments of exclusion. With that in mind, I'd like to pose our second question to our panelists. Miss Malaki, Miss Zen, and Azman, have you ever experienced any obvious inclusion in your personal or professional lives? And if so, how did you handle them? And what lessons did you learn from those experiences? Your insights into these experiences can provide a valuable guidance for our audience who may have encountered similar situations. Please take a moment to share reflections and you can begin. Miss Malaki, would you like to share your experience with us?
Yeah, of course. I think for me is just feeling like I'm a token in many places. And I want to use that word token because it is like part of what we are, like women. Whenever there's like an extra spot, or even like I've been into moderating session where they're like, oh, we need a female to kind of be
Mm.
inclusive, and they're
Yeah.
like,
Balance
oh,
it
just
out.
yeah, balance it out. I'm like, bro, don't balance me out. Like, I deserve to be here. So
Yes.
I think I've like really went through that many times in my life, whether it's in college, in university, whether it's at work, especially because that's when everybody wants to be a bit more inclusive. I see that in movies also. Oh, they've already got an American, so let's just put like a Chinese and Indian there together, and
Yeah.
then let's put like someone from a different background, and that's being inclusive, and that's not necessarily it, right? You want to be able to shine because of your abilities and your talent, and just by diversifying and of course giving opportunity, that's great. But it's also that perception, that mentality is like, hey, we need a woman here just to make that whole picture look great and full, and so let's just like pick someone that's available. So I think like the intention is, I mean, it's great that we are given opportunities, but I feel like the intentions could be a bit more, like, just shift your mind a little bit more. Don't do it just for the sake of it. Like, you really want to see people with talent, and you really want to see people who can give their ability to actually shine in different platform and stages. So that's super important. Yeah.
Sure, agree with you, Mala, because in
Yeah.
this industry right now, right,
Mm-hmm.
especially like for me, okay, Mala, I know you're in the radio industry and all that. We understand that part, that sometimes we need to be extra more talented to be inclusive
Yeah.
to something, right? Or not. So, for
Exactly. Yeah.
example, like for me, I'm in the modeling industry, so I'm a plus size model. So I've been in runway in Indonesia, Thailand, and also I do some TVC with in Singapore and all this kind of stuff. So as a plus size, okay, I want to just share with everyone. As a plus size, we always need to do extra more to be inclusive, okay? Because as knowing myself, of course, I'm confident with myself, but it's still a taboo to everybody in Asia, especially plus size is not really that inclusive. Designers would not want to do a plus size clothes. Not many. There are some, okay, which I'm really thankful those some because they hired me to be, but there are some they want to include plus size just for the sake of being inclusive as plus size.
Exactly.
And yeah,
Exactly.
and one thing that I face in Indonesia. So this one is my personal experience that I faced. Okay, so I representing Malaysia to walk in the Indonesian runway. Okay, and obviously during rehearsal, okay, I just want to let y'all know during rehearsal time, right? That time we all, of course, my rehearsal, then we think like, oh, okay, never mind, like it's just a rehearsal, we just walk. But then, right, every designer is looking at you. So especially you are a plus size, people will your eye will be watching at you. Okay, if you do any mistake, people will laugh at you. So what
Yeah.
happened is I'm representing Malaysia and we have few finalists are plus size model, and they went for the rehearsal, and they actually blur, okay, during the rehearsal, and looking at all those designer laughing at them on the spot, okay, without even giving any sympathy or any empathy, really crushed me, and I feel so sad that this industry, we don't even encourage each other anymore to this point. All right, so that time I took the opportunity to really go and teach them to make sure they are not blur and run and walk the runway, and then we ace it after that. But this is something that I feel is still a taboo, especially when we are a plus size model. Even in Malaysia, people cannot
Yeah.
really accept us for who we are, and as especially designers, they don't even accept. So this inclusivity, right, is really still a taboo within a lot of industry, and it's very sad. But
Mm.
as for me, I always try to be inclusive. I try to make sure that I teach everyone and coach everyone. Yeah. So this is my experience. It's very sad, but then it's something that I want to
Yeah,
share out there. Yeah, Azman, maybe can share yours. Maybe like more
yeah.
thorough than me or what?
First of all, I'm not a woman, so it's hard for me to relate exclusions because in reality male have their own male have more privileges than women, and I am ashamed of that because it is not what the society wants.
Yes.
So I think I have a story that I could share is when I was in primary school. I socialized with girls a lot more than boys because
Okay.
I'm different than other kids. So they say things like to be more manly, or to be or maybe they say things like you are so girlish. And even when I entered high school, they said I don't play a lot of sports, and they said that um, in order for you to become a man, you have to be a sport. You have to love sports, and I don't believe in that stigma because it does not reflect of what gender you are. Because even women in sports also, we can see a lot of um, women in sports championing for gender equality. And apart from that, Ms. Zen, you are advocating for what? Uh, Plus size women in the
Yes.
model industry, right? Well, for me, um, I'm having acne and skin issues,
Oh,
which
okay.
I'm facing it right now since I was
Understand.
probably 15 years old, and that type of discrimination made my self is esteem very low, and because of that, they don't want to talk to me because probably of my appearance. And as I grew up and I grew older, I realized that you do not have to, you do not have to be beautiful in order for you to be part of the society. You just need to
Understand.
show yourself that you have to be confident that um, everyone is beautiful in their own ways, whether
Yeah.
you see it or you do not see it lah. So again, to relate back with my Malaysian youth diplomacies, what we advocated for a long time, which is youth peace and security agenda. What another pillars that I would like to share is protection, which involves safeguarding young people from discrimination, bullying, and exclusion. So my experiences with bullying and discrimination underscored the importance of creating inclusive environments where all youth and girls and young women should be respected and valued lah. So
Yeah.
um
You know what's really
yeah,
funny? Like, when two of you are talking, I'm like, I can't even believe why would you feel like insecure or inadequate, Asman. I think you're super awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Firstly, since
You're
oh,
we go to
beautiful.
the
thank
same
you.
Okay.
school, and like, and I think you're so cool as a person. I've met up with you before, so I think like it's just amazing on how that perception that people make you believe that is so
Mm,
untrue. Like even Zen, I mean, Zen and I, we're college mates, right? So like i I have seen her as her most like powerful element, very confident, and she's so jovial and she's so fun to like chill with and talk to, and like when we see each other and stuff. And it's crazy on how like the society makes us believe something that we're not.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we don't have that support system to remind us like, hey, you're awesome, and just try to block out that naysayers, then that's where things get messed up in our head. So like I'm really surprised, Osman, hearing from you, but I'm glad you're sharing it. But just to like reassure you that you're super awesome. And
you
Exactly.
too, you too.
I
Miss
will
Zen,
talk
you
to
are
you,
awesome
okay?
too.
The moment I see you, I will talk to you and just chill and hang out. You know what?
yeah,
We can just ignore all these people who thought, during in high school. So actually, during uni and high school, people last time
yeah,
call me Princess Fiona the Shrek. Okay, so
Oh my
Wow.
I
god.
take it, yeah, I take it very positively because I love Princess Fiona the Shrek. She is so positive. She is
Yeah, yeah,
happy.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can
Yeah.
actually take it in a very positive way. If the person who don't want to talk to you, right, is their loss, to be honest, because they don't want to get to
Yeah.
know you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Azman, we can go and chill, lepak, drink coffee or something. Next time we go. Oh, you can join my podcast next time.
Oh,
And
I have a podcast.
we'll call Shavina to host it too.
Yeah, Shavina, join us.
Join us.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. That was really enlightening. So thank you really really thank you so much for sharing your personal experiences. So now let's shift our focus to the proactive steps that we can take to foster inclusivity and champion gender equality. As we continue our discussion, I'd like to address the importance of advocacy in advancing female inclusion. To Asman, I pose the following question. How do you champion female inclusion in your daily life as a man? I invite you to share your perspective.
Wow.
thank you, Shavina.
Pleasure.
Uh, so I've been in this advocacy industry or field for since I was probably 15 years old, since I was Form 3 actually. So I'm proud to use my position as youth and also as a man in my commitment to supporting women's rights causes, whether advocating for end child marriage or lending my voice to end violence against girls and young women movement. And recently, I represented Malaysia to champion YPS agenda, sexual, reproductive, and health rights, and quality living for youths, adolescents, and children in Bangkok, Thailand, last year November. Yeah, so that's one of the initiative that am able to do, that I'm proud to do so as a man, and that's just within my work scope lah. And in my daily life, I practice to know my limits with male privileges in Malaysia, because they must be aware that because of their gender, they are less likely to face discrimination or even sexual harassment than women, either at work or in public, which it can happen anywhere. And Mala, I mean, Zen, do you know recently that a young man went viral on Twitter because he got sexually harassed in LRT?
Mhm.
Do you guys know that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that. Oh,
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So if a man can um, get sexual harassment in the LRT, it shows that women is more likely to face
Yeah.
sexual harassment in the public as well. And as per October 2023, uh, there's total of 1,012 cases in Malaysia, and 235 out of that are men. And it shows that 90% of the time annually targeted towards women. So yeah, that is so I don't know what to say. It's so um it's so Nila.
You know,
Scary.
but
It's
Azman, like,
scary at the same time.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Azman, not just to like get your perception right as a male represent, but not like speaking on behalf of all males, but just your own opinion on it. I do have some guy friends who think like girls are a bit more whiny about what's happening to them. Like, when you're talking about sexual harassment, like there are talks like, male people, I mean, like men in general, they don't really report sexual harassment because they are
Mm-hmm.
embarrassed and all that. And when
Yeah.
women do it, it's like, oh, why is it like such a big thing? Like, they make it such a big thing, but it also happens to men, right?
Yeah.
And how do you think like um, in terms of like male perspective, and because you have also gone through your own like trauma or baggage and all these kind of
Mm-hmm.
things, right? Do you feel like excluded or maybe unheard of when we focus, like the society focus on women and what we're going
Women.
through? I mean, I'm talking about like now, lah. Of course, like decades ago, like nobody gave a crap
Mm-hmm.
about what's happening with women, right? But like now,
Yeah.
like, do you feel like you're excluded in that conversation that we should also kind of include men in that process?
Personally, I don't think so, because whenever I going to events or programs, or even doing a consultation, um, it's we I personally like to use the word youths and adolescents and children because they are also part of the society as well. So, however, it is important to know that based on the statistics and data, that women and girls, especially girls and young women, they are facing more discrimination and sexually harassed more than men. So, but it uh in in reality, male privileges is much more. How do I say this? It's hard to be seen
Mm,
in real life, but because they are doing male privileges, they as men they how do I sentence it? They sometimes they do not realize that the actions they're doing is a privilege. So
Yeah.
mm,
I personally know my limits, and as someone for in this advocating field, I like to use the term everyone in
Yeah.
whatever that I advocate for.
nice.
Yeah. Mm.
Thank you, Azman, for emphasizing the importance of gender equality. So now let's explore another crucial aspect of our discussion. We sometimes, what is, it's often said that women help or lift other women up, but unfortunately, we sometimes witness or experience the opposite. With this in mind, I'd like to pose the following question to our panelists. We often see cases where women exclude other women. So what do you have to say about this and how can we eliminate this behavior? Miss Zen and Miss Malake, I invite each of you to share your perspective on this complex issue. Why do you think women sometimes exclude other women and what steps can we take to how we can eliminate this behavior to foster a more supportive and inclusive environment among women?
I feel this question is until now is still happening. To be honest, it personally happened to me as well, especially in the modeling industry, where you feel that the woman together with you do not support as women being in the modeling industry. So just because of what they want to benefit out of it, usually they will do things selfishly. So I think this is not just in the modeling industry. This is the world right now. And people are very selfish where they only care about themselves, not about other people. But as for me, as I believe, I always put this in mind, even though I'm a model or anything, I'm a motivational speaker, I always tell people that whatever we do, we need to be sincere. If we are sincere, everything will be better. And for example, okay, I'm a coach. Let's say I'm a coach in the modeling industry. I'm coaching the models to coach in a better how to talk, how to speak, how to walk, and all that kind of stuff. So let's say another model who is already also an experienced model, and the only thing that they lack of is talking. Okay, but I'm good at talking. So what I will do is I will give that person a chance to go for it, even though I know that is my time to shine. But when I see the person is struggling or maybe trying to do something out of it, right, I will just, maybe I'll be the starter. Hey guys, I have
Mm.
this one person who are very experienced here. Maybe you can give her a round of applause and try. Then she can share her experience. This is some small things that I do, but you will never know I change someone else's life where how the person would take up themselves and how they believe in themselves, right? So I feel that we as women, we should encourage each other, right? And because I think this is something that is very, how to say, is so toxic in this industry or outside industry, right? That they forget this value. And having this value is important because it help each other to grow and be successful. If we help each other, I think everyone can be successful. But just because people are so selfish within their self, they chose not to. I mean, Mala, maybe you can share yours. I think you agree with me. I mean, we are in the same,
Yeah,
almost same industry, and they are so
yeah,
cruel.
yeah.
Mm.
I think just to add to that, I have been thinking why. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can.
I feel
Yeah.
like okay, yeah. So I think I actually have like this long post on LinkedIn about this specific question. But just to share with you, right? I think it's like if this was I was at the age of 20, this is me also recognizing my weakness and also understanding where I'm at. If I was in 20 and somebody else achieved something, I would have been like, oh my God, what does she have that I don't have? Like, why,
True.
how come I didn't get that opportunity? But now at the age of like 35, the reason why I feel so empowered to see other women empowered as well, because of like just understanding the situation of how women are or the kind of situation we were placed in, right? So like for decades, we had to fight for that one single opportunity to shine, whether it's like one seat on the table that only had to be women, whether there were like 10 people, 10 men in like a CEO table or a boardroom, and then there was only like allowed like one woman just there. And the reason why like our whole, I mean like generations, we have been embedded where there's only very limited seats for women in
Yeah.
generally wherever, whichever industry, whether it is like in the boardroom, whether it's with your friends, there's only like one particular women available, that's all, right? So we
Yeah.
had this like mindset where we need to bring other women down to fight for that one opportunity. And because of that, it's so embedded within us that in our generation, it's so normal. It's like normalized to bring another woman or talk bad about somebody else just so that we can get ahead of it. So I feel like I honestly feel that compassion for women who go through this or feel like they need to bring somebody else down in order to shine. But I don't blame them, because that's how we were brought up. Whether it's like access to education, whether it's access to job opportunities, whether it's access to getting like a higher post or senior management and all these kind of things, we always just had like, oh, we only need that one woman. They don't say it, but we all know it, right?
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
guess like among women, that's why we tend to like feel, or maybe in and it's like in our head that, oh, I need to bring her down in order to shine. But
Yeah.
what we fail to understand is there are limitless opportunities right now. There are tons of opportunities for everybody to be uplifted, and there are tons of opportunities for all of us to be successful. So we just need to remind each other that, hey, even if you are doing so well, that's so great, because I will do well in my own path, and we have like a lot of room to shine. So
Yeah.
it's just that focus mindset that we had, I think, being compared to as we were young to other girls. Somebody is more fairer than someone is more skinnier than another person, someone is like, I think even in our uni, like Zen, right? Like, the popularity place, like you only have like few girls that are popular,
Yes.
and that's it. And the rest of us is like, that's it, like they're all nerds, go and stay in a study area, and that's it,
True.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't feel hate, or I don't feel bad. I mean, I don't feel like I'm against these people or these girls who try to bring you down or talk bad about you behind your back or in front of you even. But I just feel really sorry that you're still at that mindset, and I wish that we just unlock that and embrace the fact that it's okay if another woman is successful. It's completely fine, because you have a lot of room to be successful in your own way. And we just need to constantly remind that. I think even among our friends, when you see a girl talking crap about another girl, I think it's so important for us to just highlight and be like, hey, it's okay, it's fine, she's doing well, she's an influencer,
Yeah.
whatever lah, no talent, no skill, no whatever, she just pretty also, never mind. They
Yeah.
have the
That's right.
platform and they want to do it, and you can be your own like success story. It's just how you look at yourself at the end of the day.
Yep.
So yeah, I just hope we just end up empowering each other lah. Not feel that we need to bring each other down in order to be successful. Like, I'm so proud, Zen. I think like a lot of people from our college, like even school, they are so
Yeah.
successful now. A lot of them
Yes.
are influencers, a lot of them are YouTubers, a lot of them are like actors, singers. And it's great. I feel like, wow, I don't feel like I'm out of place. I feel like, whoa, that's so great. I'm among these women.
Yep.
I'm so proud that I actually knew them before. And yeah, I just hope more people feel that way.
I agree with you of the age when we are 35 and above. Oh my God, the age review. That we realize certain thing. We realize certain thing that we actually we the way we think about things are so different. And the maturity that we have is like it's okay, our time is already we used to do that, we used to be there, and right now we give other people a chance. And looking at this and people's success it's a plus point and it's money cannot buy. Let's say you are helping someone to coach someone to be successful. That is something your work. And that means you can inspire people to be someone and you change someone's life. That is something money cannot even buy. Is you're changing someone's life in a goodwill and trying to be nice. So that's why right now for me as well, so I try to be I try to inspire people with my story and all the rejection that I have, right, throughout this whole journey being a model. And right now I so shifted my career to more to podcasting and trying to be more real and talk about things that is real, or maybe something that is very very personal. I feel that people right now in this industry, we have chance, no worries. We have chance that people nowadays wants to see real things, not fake things anymore. So yeah, let's just give them hope lah. Not everything is so that bad. I feel that we just give them chance. I think they will realize something there.
Oh, that was so
Thank,
moving.
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
Ms. Zen and Ms. Malake, for your insight on fostering inclusivity among women. So now, as we near the end of our discussion, I'd like to pose one final question to our panelists, focusing on the next generation of change makers. To our esteemed panelists, as leaders in your respective fields, what advice or encouragement do you have for our girls and young women? How can they inspire inclusion in their daily lives and promote a positive change in their communities? Miss Malake, Miss Zen, and Azman, I invite you to share your words of wisdom with the young women and girls who are looking to make a difference. What lessons have you learned in your journey that you believe could empower and inspire the next generation?
Okay.
All right.
Maybe,
Yeah, Zen,
maybe
go for it.
okay, so I always do this. I always give talk, okay, and I always try to encourage people to believe this phrase, okay. So I want to share with everybody. So I believe that in 99% people will always reject you, means exclude you to everything, reject you in life. But it takes that 1% that person to believe in you. And if that 1% person that believe in you, you need to believe in yourself to make it work. So it happened to me. I have that 1% person who believe in me. I make it work. I became a plus size model. But yeah, so this is something I give an advice to everyone. You need to believe in yourself. Self-love, believe in yourself, and how the way you think of yourself is very important. So it portray you for who you are. So let's say, for example, I give you an example. I'm big size, I'm fat. Okay. I gain weight. Okay. And but I can sit down and cry at home and just do nothing. I just be crying how fat and ugly I am. But no, I chose to change the way how you look at me. I want to be beautiful even though if I'm plus size. I want to stand up and be confident. And if I can do this, imagine people who are watching who have low self-esteem, right? They see me do it. Obviously, I will encourage them to do it as well. So I think this is something that we should always portray. We should believe in ourselves as woman or man, regardless. This is a very, very important phrase that we have to believe in ourselves so that we will work. Yeah, that's mine.
Mala, you want to go first?
Um, Ken, I'm still thinking actually. Feels like a very important message to share with the world
I
right
can go
now.
first.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I can say on behalf of the men and also speaking for both men and young people, that today is not just about recognizing achievement. So it's about more to build a community where everyone feels included,
Yeah.
empowered, and also united. So in my position as a man and also representing the youth, and I will never stop and keep on advocating for women's rights. And it has been a cause that I've been passionate about since I was 15 years old. So I think my message for the girls and young women and also youth is to keep on fighting for your rights, because women deserve more than one seat at the table, not just one seat. I think they deserve more than one seat. That is what I'm trying to treasure about. And because in a decision making, women play a vital role. in shaping a inclusive future. So I think, like Ms. Zen said, your unique perspectives and talents can enrich the society, and your voices need to be heard and celebrated. So yeah, that's for me. Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah, thank
Wow.
you.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely resonate with what Asman's saying and also Miss Dan as well. I think for me, it's like if I had to advise myself when I was younger or the next like change makers, right? It would definitely apart like what Ms. Anne was saying, like believing in yourself, it's like being inclusive with yourself, like accepting every part of you and being
Mhm.
completely proud of who you are as a person, as an individual, not just as a woman, as a human being.
Yeah.
We so focus on trying to be the best woman out there, but you know what? You're like a best human out there. It doesn't matter whether which gender you are. Just
Mm.
focus on being like the best individual that you can be, and accept it, right? Because I think whatever flaws, whatever trauma, whatever like crappy situations we went through, it really made us who we are today, and we should embrace all of it. We are often felt or maybe like made to believe that we need to be guilty of whatever that we went through, but this is where we need to accept it and be like, hey, I'm embracing every single flaws in me, and I'm being inclusive with myself, and this is why I can be inclusive as a society, so it's just being that, giving that reminder to like chill lah, give yourself a break. It's
Mm.
okay. You don't have to be so hard on yourself, and you don't have to take the world so seriously. Just have
Mm.
fun. At the same time, just believe and know your worth, because that's so important. No matter how many people like say that, hey, you're super awesome, you're this, you're great. If you don't know what's your value, you will
Yeah.
always be devalued. So just keep reminding yourself how valuable you are and what kind of unique gem you are to this world, to this individual. And this is also why I love birthdays, because birthdays are a way to celebrate your existence in this
Mm.
world. And
World.
you have no idea how impactful your existence is, whether it's smiling at a stranger, whether it's giving that words of empowerment, whether it's complimenting someone. You make
Mm.
so much of difference, and you basically can uplift so many people's life, whether intentionally trying or not. And so just keep that in mind, to remember what a gem you are, and you have your own unique individual um, abilities to shine.
Yeah.
So don't be too hard on yourself. Like, just embrace it. Embrace whoever you are, whatever color, skin color, hair, curly, straight, whatever, like, just embrace it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, panelists, for those extremely heartwarming words. And thank you for your valuable insights and your perspectives. So now it's time to open up the floor to our audience for a question and answer session. If you have a question for our panelists, please type it in the chat or comments if you're joining us on Facebook. Whether you have a burning question or simply want to share your thoughts on the topics we've discussed today, we welcome your participation. This is your opportunity to engage directly with our panelists and contribute to the conversation.
Can I ask questions to Mala and Ms. Zen? Shavina, is
Oh,
that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Jangan takut, jangan takut.
Hey, tak
So,
ada lah. Just say. All right.
so my question is, how do you think male participation can help with um, women's rights or movement, or what you have been advocating since what age did you start your modeling, Ms. Zen?
I started actually 2 years ago after the pandemic. So previously,
Oh.
yeah. So my story is previously I was a singer. 10 years back,
Mm.
and then I was gonna boo on the spot. Okay, and I actually quit singing for a very long time. And that 10 years gap, right, is for me to find myself. I was lost,
Mhm.
and I gained back my weight. I was skinny that
Mm.
back then. And then after the pandemic, it hits me like, oh, I should do something about myself. I cannot just sit down
Mm.
and do nothing.
Yeah.
See, the pandemic come, we lock down, and then we're not doing anything to achieve in our own self, right?
Yeah.
So what I believe is, right, so you're talking about male participation that help in gender
Mm.
inclusive. So in modeling, right, we male and female is consider quite equal, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but because it's cast under separate male and female, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the female right now have more designers who wants them, because dress and all that fashion
Yeah.
mostly are female, okay. Right now is terbalik, where we need to include male inside. Okay, so but
Oh.
yeah, we need to include male inside the fashion industry, which is a great thing. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
designer right now doing for male fashion, and some even doing for like gender, no gender, means anyone can just
Mm-hmm.
walk the runway. So but what I believe, right, as a male especially, is actually to step up and encourage. So for example, if they see something on the spot, they feel that it's like they discriminate, or they don't feel inclusive, so they have to step up and tell the person like, hey, this is not right, a female should do this as well, not just a male.
Mm-hmm.
So we always see this often, for example, in a company, okay, like you're working in a company. So always there's a lot of male than female. Okay, this is
Yeah.
my own experience as well. So a lot male than female, the whole male will gang up and do not even support the female. So that is something is very bad. And as a like educated person like you, Azman, you are more inclusive, and you will think about female, and you will always help. Hey,
Mm.
why not we let her try to lead this project, because maybe she has more ideas, and being a female can be in the leadership as well. Doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
just the male. And like for example, like you work in the like more to the government section, right? Usually the female will not have to say a lot, always following the leaders and all that. So right now I think it's they are opening up, which is something very good. And I believe that this world will go. So it's also how the male portray themselves, where they help
Yeah.
to encourage the female to go, step, go and take your spot. Yeah, something like that. So I feel that is very important.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think having that support is definitely like so important. One of the first step is to have the awareness of what
Yeah.
women are actually going through, or
Mm.
why we are so whiny these days and complaining about everything. Yes, we want like equal right, equal pay, equal this, equal that. Like, bro,
Everything
go
equal.
back to yeah, everything equal. Like, it obviously has to come somewhere, right? I still do have guy friends who says like, hey, go make me a sandwich, they joke about it, stuff like that. But having the ability to have the awareness and call yourself out when you're being a certain way, because and I can't blame men for thinking that way. Like, women are meant to be at home, women are meant
Mm.
to take care of the kids and stay at home, because it's years and years and years of like
The
the
stigma.
Yeah.
yeah, the stigma of
Yeah.
it, and it's not going to be easy to just change overnight. But then again, trying to understand the other end of things, and I think also for women to understand where men are coming from, because these are generational traditions that are being like broken, right? The stigma that's being
Mm-hmm.
broken. So like, I think just being aware that where this attitude or perception is coming out is like the first step. I need to
Yeah.
be aware that women are often victimized, and I need to be aware that, hey, I don't want to be a victim of my own story. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
empowering. I want to be like
Mm.
someone who's like sharing it in terms of like not being victimized, but more of like empowering, right? So in terms of male
Standing up for
perspective, it's
it.
so
Yeah.
important to have the awareness. Yeah, that awareness of like, hey, I understand where women are coming from. I also get how male people or men can actually participate in this, and how we can also break that stigma within the men
Men.
side,
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
yeah. So just having the awareness, I think that's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
have
I see a
another
lot more
question.
questions.
Yeah,
On.
as a young woman or girl, how can we actually contribute in women's rights or engage in activities to support women's rights?
Wow.
Does anybody want to?
Yeah, I can start with this. Just support the girl next to you. All right, Nguyen, thanks a lot for
Yes.
your question. But I feel it starts with just supporting the person next to you, your friend circle, whether it is in your school, whether it's in your college, whether
Yeah.
it's in your workplace. It's just being that support system. You are already advocating. You don't have to be part of like big association doing
Yeah.
like activism. I mean,
Yep.
great if you are. That's fantastic, but it starts with your own community and your circle. Whether having a sister and you're calling her fat, like don't do that. Like
True, true,
try to
true.
be someone that like supports it, and then from there you are also building the community, and you have no idea how much you're helping to teach people how to treat each other. I think that's the most important thing.
Yep. Agree with that.
Alright. Someone is asking, what are you guys' opinion on the stigma revolving women in sports, which are mainly known for men playing it?
Uh,
Oh, okay.
wow.
I don't believe in men uh dominating the sports field, because sports, for me, it is not a gender thing. It's more to how your
How
ability
well?
to play. Yeah, how well do you play sports? And personally, I don't do good in sports. I only do badminton and swimming. And it is time for us to break the stigma and the mindset of the people that, men, they can do cleaning or cooking, which I've been doing that for the past few years already. And it does not show it does not reflect of a weak man you are. It just shows that you are more supportive, and yeah, something like that lah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right now, you see also there's Serena Williams and all that. They are very, very
Yeah.
famous sport person, and then until now, I think right now in this generation, we are quite open towards
Mm,
equality already right now because of the awareness that a lot of
mm,
people is giving out, especially when during International Women's Day, you can see all the banners talking about how, and especially right now, right, in office, okay, they will put the sexual harassment sign, which is I'm very
mm,
surprised because in the past few years, there's no such thing as this kind of thing. When you report to the HR will say, "Oh, there's you don't like you tapaya report." You know those kind of thing.
yeah.
Which right now they even more encourage like you report to me. Maybe I can share something about this more to revolving women in sport. Right, is where last time I'm a lonta peru lonta peru sport person, okay?
Wow.
And yeah, last time I was lonta peru lempar cekera, okay? So I have a male friend, okay?
Mm,
He always like to tease me, okay? In the, let's say, when where we are doing rehearsal, he just like to tease me like, gempa bumi, okay? But
mm,
he is a good person, okay? But he just
mm,
jokingly. But during the sport event, okay, you can see the biggest cheer is him, even though
mm,
without like all the women, he cheer for all the women because he wants them to win, so
mm,
we need more people like this to
mm,
encourage the woman there to
yeah.
do things that which is we need more male figure like this to help to do
Mm,
this more so that he encourage. So during the time he encouraged me, even though we throw we throw the lonta, right, and like already when you wish how far you will
yeah.
lonta the thing. But because of his screaming there and like Zenny, you better throw like we throw like small further. So I think this is a very important thing as a male. We should more encourage women, even
Mm,
though we know that thing like lonta baru is something where male, which is more heavy, this kind of thing is male
mm,
sport and all that. But yeah, I mean we need more people
Yeah.
encourage each other.
And also just to add to that, that we need to also eliminate the stigma in our own self. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big sports person. I love volleyball, badminton, like you name it. I used to join
mm,
everything back in school or college, and also till now, right? I'm quite active in sports, but I feel like I never really saw that I am lesser than a male,
Yeah.
mhm.
because like I'm like, oh, I'm damn good at it, so what are you even
Yeah.
let's
True.
compete in this
Slay,
one.
slay.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
like, what are you even talking about, right? But I also
Uh,
feel like that perception came about is because I didn't have that stigma with myself. to feel that I'm weaker than men. Like, of course, like women play together and men play together, and you know that kind of thing. We have our own like volleyball teams and stuff like that. It's not really mixed, right? But at the same time, for me, it's like, yeah, okay, guys, you all want to go play your football, go play. It's okay. Like I'm gonna play
Mhm.
girl football, and I'm okay with it as well, right?
Yeah.
And I never saw that I'm weaker than men. So like the way I view myself also as a sports person
Yeah.
is I think I look at myself very highly. So like if a guy were to challenge me like, hey, let's run like 5 kilometers together, I'm like, yep, why not? Let's do it. So it doesn't matter whether it's gender, but I do understand in the sports world a world like people of course pay higher to like men's sports, and there's more like people who are supporting men's sports, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can be very very frustrating and demotivating for women out there. But this is where like women, we need to be so proud of what we are doing and
Yep.
achieving, and that recognition we should give each other as well. So if I'm going to watch football with a bunch of guys playing it, and I should also be open to watching football with a bunch of girls playing it and being okay with it, right? So
Yep.
I understand the sponsorships and all that is more biased to a certain extent, but I
Yeah.
believe like, and I hope that it is growing towards like a more gender neutral kind of world where we are quite open into both types of sports and being okay
Parts.
with it. But it's also how we start looking at ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't have that own stigma on your own. I think that could be a good start.
Yeah. What we portray is what other people will treat us. So it's very important.
Yeah, in
That's true.
personally, during my time as a kid, I used to go to swimming classes and also competition. I don't, me and my family and my cousins, we play together, and the girls, the girls side lah, they play better. They are much a better swimmer than me, and I don't see myself as a gender. I reflected myself as a ability, like what Miss Zen said.
Nice.
So it's yeah. So I'm proud of them for having gold medals than me, even though I'm not really a good swimmer, but I tried my best.
Yep.
Yeah, I love the part where you said we had to eliminate the stigma in ourselves first. Like the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So it's definitely like, yeah, I love that. So we have one more question, maybe the last question. Do you guys think that having too many women in the picture might be a problem?
Cat fights.
Wow. It depends. It depends what kind. Okay. If the positive encouragement kind, yes, is a good thing. But if the toxic one, I'm so sorry. It's not a very good. I mean, let's be real for once. Okay. We have people who are really, really sincere and try want to encourage us. I have a bunch of female friends who are very nice and very encourageable people, and I have others who are not. So, to be honest, it depends on the behavior of each and how we portray. So is very important, because if we portray positivity, I'm sure those who are negative, they are afraid to speak up. As long as we
Yeah,
are positive, the negative will back off. That's what I always experience. So if something is wrong right there, I will always address it. This thing is not right to do, and yeah, please just be nice, or maybe just encourage people. Yeah, so it depends.
Yeah, I second that. I think for me, I feel like there's never enough women. So I'm like a whole advocate of like, yeah, bring all the women together, and that's like go for a party, and that's where I have most fun. I think that's the great support group, whether it's in the office context or whether I was in college or whether I think I never really looked at it as a gender, but the fact that you have another
yeah,
woman out there, I think it is very much empowering. But I'm also the kind of person that I'm super straightforward and I call out your BS lah. So if let's say for instance you're gonna be toxic or say stuff behind somebody's back, I wouldn't even be engaging with that situation.
Yeah,
And this is why I've learned how to like create that boundary. And whether it's male or female, right? Because you see a lot of girls fighting with each other because of one guy. And
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean that's the kind of like school
And
and college.
they don't support the girl, they think for the
Yeah,
guy. That's
they
very
think for the
bad.
guy exactly.
Yes,
Like why are you
exactly.
thinking for the guy? He's the player. I mean, like this is like how we started in high school and then we went to college, right? So we tend to like, oh, I have to beat you to get that person, or I have to beat you to be a better friend. And I think even when it comes to friendships, like if you have a best friend and you see another girl like being friends with them, you're like, oh, okay, where is she from? Like, why is she best friends with my best friend? And like we have all this like petty nonsense,
Exactly.
but it's like when you grow out of it, right? You're like, hey, I just like I've got too much of things on my plate. I've got a lot of things to do. I need to reach that success and goal that I want to. I don't have time for this. So if you're all like straightforward and like honest, great. If you're not and going to talk behind my back, it really doesn't bother me. So
True.
I agree with Zen. It really depends on the type of girls you have in the same room.
Yeah, 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 babe.
I
How
also
does it
agree
feel
with
for you,
Mala.
Azman? Yeah, I'm
I
wondering from
I
Azman's
agree
point
with
of view.
you. I don't see women. I don't see with having too many women causing problem because again, it depends on your characteristics, your behavior. I don't see that again. I don't see as a categorize them as gender. Because even in Malaysian youth diplomacy, we have more women than men actually. So I don't see any problem of that. And uh if we have problems around ourselves, we try to solve it as soon as possible. We are transparent. We
Yeah.
are pretty much transparent. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
how
just
I
to put
see
it
it, lah.
out, yeah, and just to put it out there, I think Azwa, maybe you can second me on this. Like, you think girls can gossip, boys can gossip too, okay?
Yeah,
So, like,
nowadays
I
it's
gossip a lot.
yeah,
generation
yeah,
change.
exactly,
We spill the tea every day.
yeah. Nice.
All
We have
right.
another question, right, from Krishi.
Another question, yeah. Should we move towards gender equality movement more or mainly for the women's movement? Wow.
I
Tough
think
question.
women's I think women's movement is part of the gender equality movement because what women want is actually gender equality. So uh I don't think it's a separate body. I think uh it's under the gender equality movement because that's what women want actually for the past I don't know couple for past few years actually more than few years actually. Yeah. So what do you think?
I to be
Yeah.
honest, right, like gender equality certain extent, okay, for example,
Mm.
not all. Okay, there are certain things we still need men to do it for us. Okay. So for me, I'm not a feminist that fight, "Ooh, all girls have to do everything." I'm not that kind of person. But I am agreeing, like for example, there are certain things that we need men to do as well. So means we need to, like for example, so let's say you have a husband. Okay, husband provide for the house. For example, let's say your husband is very, they have money, they provide for the house. Obviously, you as a woman, you provide other emotional support to your husband, and if you can provide financial support, it's a good thing, it's a plus. Where we
Yeah.
need to be equal, we need to be equally. How do we discuss about it within your household? So not to look down on your husband or look down on your wife. We should have a mutual understanding how we're going to resolve this issue. And I think a lot of Malaysia right now, they do not communicate. That's where this thing happen as a fight, and people will move towards more to another side of the gender than the other side. So which
I
is yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, right? I've been thinking about this a lot, and I work in BGBG Initiative America. So if you Google it, we work with a lot of like different communities and stuff. And for me, it's like I want human equality movement, like
Yeah.
because there's so many stereotypes, whether it's PWD, whether it's transgender, whether it's LGBTQ, whether it's women, whether it's male. There's just so many stereotypes. There's just so many layers of stigma, and I feel like we just need like a human equality movement where each and every individual are allowed to express themselves however they want to, and that's okay, whether you're
Yeah.
a male or a female, it doesn't matter. but you're able to actually like be and shine your own individual unique self, because some people don't want to be represented as a woman. Maybe I want to be known as a trans, maybe I want to be known as like different terms, right? And then I was watching this documentary about people with disability as well. There's another whole thing there. And then if you're like in a minority, women, people with disability, oh my goodness, that's like another whole layer, right? So I just hope that one day we have like a human equality movement where it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what's your background, which country you're from, whether you're darker skin or lighter skin, whether you are any sort of like whichever background you come from, you are okay the way you are, and you have that opportunity regardless on where you come from and what you do. Like, that's so important for us to look at us as an individual rather than what we are. So I hope that one day somebody starts this lah, okay? So I'm putting it out there. So universe, make it work.
We should start together.
Start together.
We
Start now.
I'm such an advocate for this, okay? Because I don't see why different communities don't get access to education, whether they're male or female. So I it's very hard for me to see gender equality because I see so many different types of stigma when it comes to equality as a whole. So I really hope we focus on like having rights to whatever you need as a human right individual, rather than looking at these kind of different layers. So yeah, let's start it out. We'll use Girls Guide as our backing.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we've reached the end of our Q&A session. I do see more questions in the chat, but we'll respond to them over the comments. So I'd like to extend my gratitude to the audience for their engaging questions, and of course to our panelists for their very thoughtful responses. So before we conclude, let's take a moment to reflect on the key insights and highlights from our discussion. I'd like to invite the audience members to share their key learnings in the Padlet shown in the screen now. Please scan the QR code or the link given to access the Padlet and write your heart out. Feel free to add pictures too if you want. And also, I would like all of you to fill out the attendance link in the chat as well. Or you can even scan the attendance link in the QR code that's shown on the screen.
Shaveena, thank you so much for moderating for this forum today.
Yeah. Thank you.
You did a good job.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. All right, so thank you to everyone. Yeah?
No, it's okay. I'm just going to call you for every single program we have, but yeah.
So thank you to everyone for your active participation in today's International Women's Day Forum. Throughout our panel discussion, we heard from our esteemed panelists about the importance of inclusivity and their extremely heartwarming words of wisdom. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to our panelists for their thought-provoking contributions and valuable insights. Your expertise and passion have truly enriched our conversation today. I'd also like to thank our audience for their engaging questions, comments, and reflections. Your active participation has made this event truly meaningful and impactful. As we celebrate International Women's Day, let us remember that our commitment to gender equality and women's empowerment extends far beyond today's event. It requires continuous effort and dedication in our daily lives and communities. On behalf of GGAM, I want to express our heartfelt thanks to everyone who contributed to the success of today's event. Let's continue to champion the rights and voices of women everywhere and strive for a future where gender equality is not just a goal but a reality. With that, I officially conclude GGAM's International Women's Day Forum. Thank you once again for your participation, and let's keep the momentum going as we work towards a more inclusive and supportive world for all. Thank you, everyone.